welcome back your Portland Marlins. Fans, welcome to the University of Portland's Clive Charles Soccer Complex and Merlot Field, the finest pitch in college soccer. For today's men's non-conference soccer match featuring Cal State University Bakersfield Roadrunners.
Welcome to beautiful Merlot Field, a place where the University of Portland Pilots have made a fortress this season. They've gone 4-0-1 at this beautiful home site, but Cal State Bakersfield looking to ruin that so far. Welcome in, I'm Adam Sussman, joined by my colorwoman, Angela Harrison. As always, Angela, how you doing? You had the pleasure of calling an excellent game on Monday, another one in store today.
Yeah, it's been a great run of home games here for the Pilot men, and we're looking forward to another good one tonight, opening a 2-game home weekend for them.
Portland is undefeated through 7 games, but here's a man who's going to be trying to stop them. Carlos Armendariz, the senior from San Francisco, has been the team captain since 2018. Almost 4,000 minutes in his career. He's going to be looking to control the midfield for them.
Yeah, he's made 42 consecutive starts for this program. He'll get 43 tonight, going back to 2019. So it just shows how hugely important he is to head coach Richie Grant's program and making their attack run. He only has 1 career goal, but he has 9 assists. That's kind of the proof is in the pudding of how important he is to Richie Grant.
Head coach for the Roadrunners, as you mentioned, Richie Grant in his 8th season at the helm. He's also the winningest coach all time in Memphis history. He's been around the NCAA game for a long time.
Yeah, he's in his 8th season here at Bakersfield, and he has been able to take this Roadrunners program into the tournament postseason. Made the WAC postseason tournament each of the first 6 years. They made the jump to the Big West last year and got into the conference tournament last year with them. So looking to do the same, get him back in, advance him a little bit farther every year.
So much has been made of the forward talent for University of Portland, but we're going to look at a player at the back. Jake Arteaga was a midfielder last year, has done really well at center back this season, picked up an assist last game, also a goal earlier in the season.
Yeah, he started all 7 games this year. We saw him early on in his typical holding midfield role, but he settled back into that other center back role alongside Delence Pierre. You know, and it's been great to watch him develop into that role. He told the Oregonian earlier this week, he doesn't feel like this Pilot team's played their best soccer yet. He thinks it's still to come, but they know with the mental growth that they've had this season, they've learned to win whatever it takes, and that's a great mentality to have as a center back.
Arteaga put at center back by head coach Nick Carlin Voigt in his 7th season. His team has impressed so much this season. I like that they have such a different identity from last year.
Absolutely, and they're up to 14 in the United Soccer Coaches poll in the country. And, again, going back to that Oregonian article from this week, he talked about that West Virginia game on Monday. Such a tough game for them to get out of there with that 2-1 win. But he said he's really proud of their refuse to lose mentality. They can win matches in different ways, and even in that game, as we saw, with set pieces and through the end of the game, defending will win you games too.
Portland will refuse to lose again tonight as they host Cal State Bakersfield. Kickoff at 7 p.m. We'll be back right after this. Back at Merlot Field as both teams have trotted onto the pitch. The each 11 is ready to go. The away lineup for the visiting Roadrunners is as follows. In net, the goalkeeper Filippo Dadone. He's a junior keeper from Italy, played for the Juventus youth team for 10 years. Going numerically from lowest to highest, the rest of the lineup: Connor Walsh, Shume Kamar, Juan Pablo Alvarez, Harry Downing, Andres Perez de Gracia, Bryson Hakins, Carlos Amandaris, who is our player to watch this game. Keep an eye on him. Marco Manzo, Bilal Mehubi, Stefan Marcano, the other 11. For the University of Portland Pilots, who are defending first, they're in a all-dark uni, attacking from right to left. George Tassarisa, net, no surprise. Kevin Bonilla, Jake Arteaga, Delence Pierre, and Nick Denley make up the back line. In midfield, it's going to be Nick Fernandez, Greg Tracy, as well as most likely Sebastian Nava, who is listed as a forward sometimes, but is going to be playing midfield today. And then the front three, it's really the strongest 11, Ange, of Brandon Cambridge, who is on red-hot form, including a goal Monday, Jacob Abele up top, and then Gurman Sanga on the opposite wing. A strong 11 for Portland. And
this seems to be the lineup that head coach Nick Carlin Voigt has more or less settled into. Tracy's a newcomer since Andreu has exited with an injury that'll keep him out for a few weeks, and so Tracy now making his second consecutive start in that 6th spot in the midfield.
Tracy played the full 90 against Denver, played most of the game against West Virginia as well. Roadrunners trying to settle in early. Portland trying to stop what happened at the beginning of last game, conceded very early to West Virginia. Luke McCormick got a goal in the 3rd minute. It was trickling in the box. He eventually put it away. But Portland stayed calm and grabbed 2 in the first half, and that was the final score, 2-1. University of Portland Pilots 4-0-3 on the season, while Cal State 2-4-1, as they are dispossessed for the first time tonight, 50 seconds into the game. California State, part of the Big West Conference. Last year was their first season in that conference. Prior, they were in the Western Athletic Conference. Prior to that, they were the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation. These California schools like to trickle all about. But last year in conference, they finished 4th in their first season. This year, they're picked to finish 9th in conference. They're a team that, unlike Portland, and certainly have struggled to score. Not a single goal in their previous 3, dating all the way back to early September. It's going to be 300 over now, 340 minutes since their last goal. For Portland, goals have been flowing, 2.5 a game. Nick Carlin Voigt has to love the production he's seen from Cambridge, Nava, Babalai especially.
Well, Cambridge has come on, especially as of late, scoring some, very critical goals for the Pilots in the last several games to pull them back into the game or cement a lead. And the amazing thing about these goals is that they have been phenomenal goals, highlight reel goals. He has picked and chosen his moments and has really put it away with a tremendous amount of skill under pressure.
Sticking with Cambridge for a second, he's someone that last year in a 4-4-2 played more of a midfield position and that would burst his pace sometimes in forward flashes. This year is more of an out-and-out winger. He's allowed to be more himself and expressive going forward. We've seen that. He's got a dangerous curler of a shot. Saw it against UCLA. Saw it not quite as flashy, but still very nice against West Virginia.
And that just shows, you know, the power of recruiting. And as you start to recruit different players in, you can change up your formations. As you mentioned, Cambridge playing a wide midfield spot in a 4 central, or in a 4 midfielder, but now with 3 up top. You know, he's got Fernandez and Nava playing in those attacking midfield roles, and they're so good at feeding the ball into their forwards and putting them in really good situations to get a shot on goal.
It was a lovely first-time pass, but Denley was dispossessed by Marcano. Portland has a lot of pedigree on this team, but nobody on their squad is part of their nation's national team yet, unlike Stefan Marcano, who was called up to the Trinidad and Tobago national team for friendlies against Bolivia and Belize earlier this year. Keep an eye on him. He's number 23 playing along the right flank. He'll be going one-on-one with Nick Denley for a majority of this contest. Dadone, the Italian keeper, sends it past the halfway line. He started every game this season, but only played 66 minutes last game. A solid save percentage, just over 700. 1.67 goals against a game. He has 2-4-1 this season. He's at the University of Turin in Italy before this, so his first season collegiately. Statistically has been strong, but his offense has not given him the production as Senga looks to put another goal past him, fights past the shoulder on the left flank, and put in a low cross, gets through Babalai. And Cambridge is going to pick up the scraps at the far side corner flag. 5th minute of action, Portland looking strong as they earn a corner kick. Going to be Portland's 44th corner of the season. They were outshot 14-13 against West Virginia. The final 15 to 20 minutes of that game, they had to parry a Mountaineer onslaught.
It's a few shots, to say the least.
Denley puts it just outside the 6-yard box and a good flick header out. It's going to remain Pilot possession. And West Virginia was no joke. I mean, they may have had a strange start to the season with some of their results, but preseason poll they were 6th. That doesn't mean much. But you go to the season beforehand, they were PKs away from the Final Four. And the way Portland were able to compose themselves. Andrew, we talked about getting frustrated so much in the opening 2-3 games of the season. It didn't look like they got frustrated.
Their patience really showed through, and I think, again, that's what Carlin Voigt talked about in the article, of just finding different ways to win. They, again, had 2 chances on goal. I believe their only shots on goal ended up being the 2 goals of the game, and they really took them well. When they had those opportunities, they took them exceptionally well, and then really had to defend, and it was very much a bend, not break scenario, and you really see how that match against Denver on Friday night, playing at altitude, the travel, turnaround, back and forth, did in their energy levels for their Monday match.
Deja vu for Brendan Cambridge, has scored a similar goal against West Virginia as he did against UCLA, and deja vu again as he earns his team another corner on the far side. Denley again, this one a little bit better, punched last second near the noggin of Delence Pierre. Fernandez leaves it off well, puts it on a platter, but a little bit too far. Denley getting his crossing exercises in early. Pierre has scored from a corner, but at the back post. See a lot of teams opting for the short corner. Portland's had a lot of success on set pieces, not just from corners. The second goal against West Virginia on Monday was a lovely play that got some bandwidth on social media. You saw the routine going semi-viral. It was very pleasing on the eye, that second goal.
And it really is training ground stuff. It's not just lining up the ball and having a rip on goal. It really is extremely well executed, well rehearsed, something that they spend a significant amount of time at the end or even the beginning of each training rehearsing and going over and getting the timing, getting the pace, trying to nail down all the little details so when they have those moments they can execute and they're confident in their execution.
Bryson Hankins, the sophomore from Bakersfield. The hometown kid cuts in a good ball. Roadrunners have yet to possess it inside the 18 of the home side. Clive's Army have showed up. Lights are on for a night game, a beautiful night in Portland, Oregon. Artiega, safe with it, sends it into the fans. Bonilla sticks in a yellow boot, plays it safely back to Artiega. Something Portland didn't quite have last year was the distribution from the center back position. O'Hara was more of a traditional center back, and he was a good one, had a lot of experience for Portland last season. Jacob Abalai is going to live in his legacy as he's wearing his number from last season. Quite the opposite position. Hankins inside to Pablo Alvarez. Like many D1 players, Pablo Alvarez played in the league over the summer, USL League 2. Many UP players played in the Pacific Northwest Division, but Juan Pablo Alvarez won it all this summer, won the USL League 2 National Championship with Ventura County Fusion. And although he didn't play last season due to an off-season injury, he's been a regular starter this year. You have to think a lot of the game time over the summer helps. Absolutely.
Those are the kind of games that coaches want their kids to play. You think that sometimes the prevailing thought is, send them home, let them rest for the summer. But, the minutes matter, the minutes in the legs, the minutes in the brain of making decisions in big games, games that matter. That's a great benefit of leagues like the USL League 2, to get college kids an opportunity to play at another high level and get those matches in to improve all facets of their game.
Senga loses out this time. He's currently 7th in the nation for assists. Most assists ever in a UP season, 14 by Joe Leonetti in 1991. I grabbed that like 3 weeks ago when he had 5 pretty quick. Not putting any pressure on him, but if he wants to grab 9 more, we'll have the conversation.
Joey Leonetti, decent player for the Pilots.
Cal State looking for their first winning season since 2014, which was Richie Grant's first season with the program. They went 10-7-5. The last time they made the NCAA tournament was November 17th, 2011, over a decade. Fortunately, they didn't score a goal in that one. A 1-0 loss to St. Mary's at home. The big star for Cal State then, Giassi Zardes, who was the first U.S. men's national team jersey I ever bought.
I've heard of him. He seems like a decent guy.
He was an All-American 2 years at Cal State. And that was a big recruiting get for them because they only became Division I in 2007. To get that level of talent, have an All-American within the first 3 to 4 years of your program in Division I existence is pretty impressive. They're also 1997 Division II national champions, going 20-4 that year. As Denley has a throw-in. Portland's seemingly favoring the near side of the pitch thus far, Ange, except for Cambridge, who's picked up a couple of far crosses. Denley and Marcano battling. A good chest down by Armendariz. Marcano again. A cool layoff, met by a haphazard one, and Cambridge trying to take advantage. As Fernandez running up the wing, but the pass doesn't connect. Babelet came back from the striker position to pick it up. Puts a little bit too much juice for Senga, but he reaches there in the end, tiptoeing the chalk. He has one step over move and into the final third.
Not sure if there is such thing as a little bit too much for Sangha.
Portland certainly have some fast wingers. Cambridge on one side, Senga on the other. I might need to spy in practice and see if they can get in a 40-yard dash sprint. Some players on the bench who would like a shout as well. Look at Muslim Umar, Buba Fofana. A lot of pacey options on the bench for Nick Carlin-Voigt tonight. Good to see Fofana back in the lineup. We saw his first action back this season against Denver.
Made his way into the West Virginia match for a few minutes, and so I feel like that was probably good for him. As you mentioned, get some minutes in his legs and get a run out on the pitch.
Pierre has a peek over his shoulder, lets it go out of play. 13th minute of action, 0-0 still. Neither team with a shot. Portland certainly closer. There was a punch out by Dodone. Each team trying to do what most of their national team couldn't do today, have a shot on target. Pierre. Cal State playing a relatively organized 4-1-4-1 formation. The tip of it, Marco Manzo, the forward, who's looking for his first goal this season. He usually is subbed off pretty quick, hasn't played over 34 minutes in a game. But the press has not been rampant thus far. We'll see if Richie Grant has something up his sleeve elsewhere. Grant, the fourth coach in Cal State Bakersfield history. Simon Tobin is the legendary coach with this program as Dodone comes way out outside the 18 to make a sliding challenge out.
And he had to, too. That was a well-timed run and service into Brandon Cambridge, who started well behind his outside back marker, Camara, and was able to just run past him with that burst of speed. So Dodone had to come out and make that play.
Perez de Gracia hesitated for a second because he thought a whistle was on the horizon, did not. Play continued, and then eventually the Roadrunners get the ball. Cal State just 5 goals in 7 total games. All 5 of those goals came in a 3-game stretch. They've played a not quite University of Portland caliber non-conference schedule. They have played some real opponents for sure. Pacific, they lost 4-2. Beat Grand Canyon, who finished top of the Big West last season, as Denley has a composed header back to George Tassaris in his neon yellow kit, getting his feet warmed up. They beat Gonzaga, who I think both of us were impressed from last year, although they're consistently picked to finish in the bottom half of the WCC. They had a lot of talent. I was watching the highlights of that game. Levante Johnson was a player I really liked for them last year. Little did I know he transferred to Syracuse, who beat the #1 team in the country at the weekend. Now they're in the top 10. If you're confused why Portland is now 14th instead of 13th, it's because some haphazardness happened outside as Syracuse now jumps into the top 10, pushing everyone back a spot. WCC play for Portland starts next week. They'll play Utah State on Sunday at 7 o'clock, a 48-hour less turnaround.
I think it's Utah Tech.
Utah Tech, excuse me. They used to be Dixie State, which I was confused by. I was looking at the record book and I was like, is this the right school? It is indeed. They're recently a Division I team. They're struggling this season. Have a lot of Oregonians on the roster, so expect pretty good away crowd contingency. Senga does the opposite of what he's been doing. Finds the green grass to the inside instead of using pace out wide. Inside again to Tracy, who finds Cambridge. Cambridge evades a sliding challenge, no call.
Camara timed it well, and he had to. Cambridge had turned the corner on him and was about to break through on a terrific ball from Greg Tracy. And right now, very impressed with this Bakersfield team and how disciplined they have been in defending over the last 15 minutes. They've maintained a lot of organization, stayed with their runners, and you just see Kamara just get in there, gets the ball. Cambridge just can't get over the legs.
The Italian keeper has a neat little chop and picks his head up. That was Shumai Kamara, the sophomore from Phoenix, Arizona, with the challenge. He had the game-winning goal against Gonzaga. Full 90 in each of the last 4 games. He's going to have his hands full at fullback against Cambridge. Senga, Denley, Nava. He's having an incredible season in his own right. 2 goals, 4 assists. Has shifted to more of a midfield position, especially after Andreu's injury. Adding a little bit more depth in that spot. Nava was a WCC first team selection in 2021, primarily playing on the left mid role in a 4-4-2. His passing ability has impressed this season. So here he is again. Artiega splits the lines to Fernandez, who finds Bonilla in space. Bonilla, first time cross. Cambridge was the recipient as the ball sails into the sky, hopefully not setting off any car alarms.
And that's going to be for the key for Portland tonight. You see, again, how disciplined the Roadrunners' back line has been, doing very well matching up against Portland's front 3, but trying to solve the problem of Kevin Bonilla coming forward is going to be the main issue for them tonight. That was a tremendous run out of the backfield. Again, another well-timed pass on the overlap, and I think Bonilla is going to create a number of dangerous opportunities tonight for the Pilots.
Let's not forget, Bonilla led this team with assists last season. And there was games where he may have not been credited for assists, but man, he got a lot of scoring chances. Portland just stays on side. Denley sends in another chance. The long hair of Arteaga flicked towards the ball, but it was a couple inches too short. Senga waiting for the troops in support. Okay, well, some of the games we've seen here at Merlo Field, don't want to jinx anything, but 20 minutes in, it's been awfully clean. Not a lot of whistles having to be blown by Levi Rippey.
Which is remarkable. I mean, you know, Cal State Bakersfield has a relatively low fouls per match average. They're averaging just under 11 fouls per match, but they lead the Big West in yellow cards with
21st in the nation. Not sure what Portland's up to now. I think they had 2 against West Virginia.
Certainly better than last season.
And you often coach. What is your attitude towards a player who gets a lot of yellow cards?
Well, there's a couple different reasons. You know, the primary reason that I look at as a coach really is down to how are they defending? Do I need to adjust something in their defending? They're arriving too late. They're mistiming their tackle. You know, what's going on? Sometimes, you know, you do look at the referee. It might be just you know, referee saw something just slightly different, but you know, it really is down to that of just what about the technique is drawing the foul and even drawing the yellow.
Cambridge right inside the 6, goes low, and an excellent save. That's certainly a way to get your first shot on target. Fernandez went down. What a pass by Nava there, Ange.
Well timed again, and that's what we've seen tonight. The passing tonight, the timing, the runs off the ball, so much better than what we saw against West Virginia.
Back to Bonilla outside the boots. First goal of the season from a fullback position. The give and go works perfectly. Really impressive stuff, Ange. He continued his run from a fullback position outside the boot shot. That's not the type of finishing prowess you see from a defender all too often.
But you see that level of play from Bonilla all the time. He's capable of making these kinds of plays, and as I just said a few minutes ago, Bakersfield's going to have a real problem solving what he brings to the attack for that Portland team. And to finish that ball from that angle with the outside of his right foot, you see how frustrated Bakersfield are? That is a tremendous finish from that young man right there. And Nick Harlan-Boyd has said it, and has kept saying it, is that as Kevin Bonilla goes, so does the Portland attack.
Bonilla has scored. That's his second goal in his time at the University of Portland. His first was a screamer against UCLA last year in a 1-0 road victory. This one, quality in a different sense. It was a well-worked team goal. Bonilla started the move through a nice dribble and gets a deserved ending. Portland now 18 goals on the season from 11 different players. And put Nava on Germain Senga territory, because now they both have 5 assists. I mean, there was 2 games, Ange, when Nava didn't get on the score sheet. Guess it was too many. Now he's back where he belongs. Fernandez being dragged down. Advantage is played by Levi Rippey, and Senga looking to double it up quickly.
Senga just slightly unsure as he took his final touch there, whether he wanted to shoot or if he was trying to find the back post towards where Cambridge was making his run in. And I think just that moment of indecisiveness really lost him his chance there. He just wasn't really quite sure what he wanted to do with that ball and ended up doing that with it.
I'll say 60% cross, 40% shot. Here's Nava. Chests it down by Marcano is there quickly. George Reese. Pressure is now on. And Delence-Pierre is knocked as he releases the ball by the head striker Marco Manzo. It's an experienced Cal State side.
And Portland was put under a pretty intense amount of pressure by the West Virginia team on Monday. So, I mean, I have little doubt that, you know, Portland spent the week looking at that film and looking at the different ways what they need to do to break that high pressure. That I think as the ball starts to go back, you'll see Bakersfield start to press them up and press the ball back, just like we're seeing right now. Not a lot of drop off from the Bakersfield team.
Denley to Nava. Certainly more comfortable to have a 2-goal lead rather than a 1-goal as they had to fight for. Back post, and there it is, the 2-goal lead. The front men are competing with each other. Who can score more? Senga's turn. Germain Senga won't have an easier finish this season. The ball falls fortunately to him.
I don't think that was fortunately. I think Brandon Cambridge put that ball on an absolute platter for him, and all he really had to do was what he did, which is slide through it. Look at this crossfield ball from Nava. That's what you have to do to break pressure. Switch the field, get it across, and now Cambridge takes on camera and sees Senga streaking to the back post, and Bakersfield, that's too many players for that ball to roll through and end up going to Senga, but full credit for Senga for making it around his marker Hankins and just sliding that one into the net.
There's a chance that initial ball may have been for Jacob Abele, who was bursting towards the front post. He was tangled up with the defender, and it falls its way to the back for Germain Senga.
I'm gonna bet that Cambridge was looking for the second runner there. Abele mainly a decoy run and looking for that back post runner.
The Canadian to Canadian connection. When we peep the WCC points leaders, it's going to be littered with the University of Portland. Of the 8 weekly awards given out a month into the season, 5 of the 8 belong to Pilot players. Three weeks in a row now, the Pilots have won WCC Player of the Week. A first time a team has done that since Pacific back in 2018. This is also the first time since 2018 that Portland is unbeaten through 7, looking to make it 8 if the score stands.
Bakersfield will continue to press high here.
This is where a player like Nava is really special. He can come back, dribble past one or two. There is a purple flare malaise over Fernandez, who calmly gives it to Pierre. How much does the play style now for Portland change being up 1 compared to 2? Because I talked about being more comfortable, but do they hold the horses a little bit, more possession for the back line?
No, there's no chance that they're going to hold their horses here. I think this is what they have to do. They have to continue to press. They have to continue to score goals. I mean, that's what they want to do. That's what these players want to do. And
Senga almost does it.
And it's just amazing how quickly this game can turn and how quickly this Pilot team can turn the game. There was a pretty good even back and forth through the first 15, 18 minutes of the game. Neither team with a shot, despite Portland having 3 corners. And just like that, you see how quickly things can change up and how quickly the tides turn when you're the Roadrunners.
Carlin Voigt sending 7 players to to warm up. Marcano. Decent drag back. Senga comes out to help.
I've said this before on other broadcasts. When you are gunning to be an elite team, when you're trying to get up there, you're trying to get in the upper echelon, the goal is to put teams away, not just be comfortable. A 2-0 lead, 25 minutes of the game is comfortable, but you have to want to put teams away, and you have to keep going for it to put teams away.
Cambridge trying to do that. Opens up the left boot just inside the penalty box. Ball has an unfortunate spin for the Pilots as the Roadrunners try to get running, but Cambridge is there. Plays it to Tracy under pressure. Clean first time pass to Bonilla. And the strong Delence Pierre gives it to Senga. Gets it sent out. Both teams claiming it is theirs, but Levi Rippey says no to the Pilots. I'm trying to think of things that Cal State Bakersfield have really done wrong, and it's more so great, well-worked goals as UP's trying to get a third here. Fernandez sends it right back with the near post finish, and
Cambridge goes down.
Looks like he hit his leg off the defender. It looked like hoping for the best. Obviously, looked like he had a lot of whiplash in his leg against the player.
It's a good ball from Babale. Strong run from Fernandez, and how difficult is that to cut it back like that? And yeah, Brandon Cambridge just takes a little fly through the air, just trying to get over there, and ends up knocking right into the Bakersfield player.
Hard on impact. 28th minute, 2-0 to the Portland Pilots, and it's no less than they deserve. As I was saying before that move, Ange, there's not much C-Sub is doing wrong. It's mostly University of Portland with some excellently well-worked goals.
Well, the first goal especially, again, trying to defend, 4 against 3 is great when you've got the number up, but then as you start to throw a player like Kevin Bonilla forward into the mix, you've got Fernandez and Nava pressing. It really does create an overload where there's a lot of confusion. You don't know who you're supposed to mark. You don't know who you're supposed to pick up. So it does create a lot of issues for a team when you have Kevin Bonilla coming forward. On the second goal, again, a tremendous ball from Cambridge. Probably they're going to watch that back on video and look at all the opportunities they may have had to slide in and cut it out and clear it as it made its way across the goal. But just a great finish by Senga.
In the game of soccer, these two things are opposite: possession and counter-attacking. As Nava cheekily puts it through the legs. But it almost feels like when Portland's in possession, they'll go 0 to 60 in almost a counter-attack-like way. We saw it in Bonilla's goal, where everyone will just march forward immediately. And was really prevalent on the second. Portland able to ramp things up very quickly with the wingers. Good sliding challenge by Perez de Gracia. Although a Spanish last name, Perez de Garcia is from London, England. The freshman in his youth trained with Chelsea, Crystal Palace, Derby County. Went to the Whitgift School in London.
Monday we saw this Pilot team really have to work to defend to win this game in the last 30 minutes. The amount of pressure that West Virginia put them under was incredible, and they made it out of there with that 2-1 win. But now we're seeing what Carlin Voigt talked about to the Oregonian earlier this week, about just the different ways that they could win the game. He called them a blue-collar team, and they're a team that wants the ball and can possess the ball, and that's what we're seeing right now. That's what we've seen for the last probably 10 to 12 minutes, is just all the different ways that they can possess the ball, the work that they're doing off the ball to do that.
Cambridge, fortunate the ball falls to him, gives it over to Bonilla, looking for the brace. Takes a second. Fernandez was down after the advantage was played. Sends in a good ball across. Probably should have left it for Denley, but Senga flicks it out of play. It's a blue-collar team, but the goals have been anything but. Marcano's probably getting to that if Senga doesn't leap.
Yeah, that's just a great look from Fernandez there. Played that ball a little off balance on his off foot, but was able to make the most of it and really try to pinpoint the head of Sanga. That was who he was going to the whole way, so really trying not to waste the opportunity he had to serve the ball in.
A third of the game passed. Portland having to peak what San Francisco has done this weekend, but Portland entering tonight was second in the WCC in goals scored on 17. San Francisco first with 19. They're obviously tied as of current. Nationally, 23rd in goal differential. Made the more impressive considering the early season draws, going down 2-0 Central Arkansas. Seems like an eternity ago, although Portland did show a lot in that game. Potential flashes of the attacking ability this team had. Don't think many would have predicted Portland would have increased their average this season by over a goal. Last year they averaged a goal and a half per game. Their stretches were piercing the net, seemed as impossible as ever. This season almost feels like a right of way, at least twice a game. Instead of taking a touch, Pierre, I rarely say this, probably made the wrong choice. But the mistake is forgiven as Portland quickly gets possession back. Bonilla calling for it on the far side. He's on an island on the right flank. Denley takes on two. Senga's there as the quick option. Good quick passing by the Pilots. Recycled play out to the fifth-year man, Arteaga. Talk about young, exciting players, but the spine of this team has a lot of experience edge. Greg Tracy, we talked about him being a new player of sorts because of the Andreu injury, but he's been with this program since 2018. He knows what he's doing in the midfield.
And he's consistently in and out of the lineup. It's for him, he's going to find his opportunity to step in and win the spot, and that's what he's got now. He's got the chance to really make his claim for this holding mid position for the Pilots, and he's so consistent, and you can see how much Nick Carlin Voigt values the depth that he does have right here. He had no problems swapping out Andreu for Tracy, knowing full well that Tracy could come in and get the job done for his program.
Tracy now just over 400 minutes on the season, appearing in each game. Babolet in the box, still has it, sends a low shot, good opportunity. That's certainly on net. Good save by the donate. Speaking of Babolet, he had his career high in minutes as a Pilot on Monday against West Virginia, 82. And of course, the game-winning goal off the set piece. Good low ball in. The donate at his opposite side near post. With his 14th save, 28th save of the season. 13 goals against. The junior keeper. A low punt, but long. Right off the chest of the substitute Rene Cortez, who came in. This is just the second game of the season he hasn't started. Incoming number 9 is from Chula Vista, California. As another sub enters the game, Jacob Fitzgerald from Yuma, Arizona. He, like Nick Fernandez on the University of Portland, actually overlapped for 2 seasons, played at the Barca Academy in Arizona. He played there from 2017 to 2020. Fernandez was there in his latter high school days. Bonilla doing it on both ends does a good job to cut it out. Perhaps in the exact spot in the 18 where he scored his goal from on the other side. Denley finds the open space. Senga looks to Nava, gives it to Denley, who switches the play to Bonilla. It's a ball Bonilla loves. He often calls for it. Cambridge swamped real quick. Nava had Tracy in the middle. It's gonna go back to where it started with Pierre, all the way back to Tassaris. The press isn't 100% for the Roadrunners, but they are showing their stamina on the front line. It's been ever so rampant since they've gone down 2-0. Under 10 minutes to go in the first half. Portland have enjoyed the majority of the ball. Haven't allowed a shot on goal yet. One shot credited with the road side. They're currently 0-2-1 this season on the road, 2-2 at home in Bakersfield. Looking for their first win since beating Gonzaga 1-0 on September 4th. Advantage was initially played, but Fernandez is down, stays down. From the half an hour we've seen from California State, you can kind of make out why they're 181st in the nation in scoring. When the few times they do get the ball up, usually seems like it's just one man on an island.
Right, you know, we're looking for Marcano and Mahubi to get up and support right now Cortez as the lone striker. You know, right now we've got Perez de Gracia and Fitzgerald in there supporting Cortez also, but right now the connection between Cortez and that 4 cross in the midfield is lacking a little bit of dynamic play, dynamic passing, getting up and around and really trying to generate some attack and some offense for them.
Don't want to speak for Nick Cronenvert because we don't know exactly who they're going to replace, but it looks like the entire attacking line for Portland will be given a break for the remainder of this first half. But Cambridge, before he goes out, probably wants another. He goes down. No whistle. That's the second time he's been in frustration as he trips down in the box. As I was saying, the 3 coming in for Portland, 3 attackers: CJ, Tibbling, Muslim, Umar, and Buba Fofana. An international attack. Umar, Nigerian-born, grew up in Canada. Buba Fofana from Sierra Leone. And CJ Tibbling's been in the States for a while now. Played at Seton Hall from 2018 to 2021, but he's from Sweden. Babalay lays it off to Fernandez. Tell you what, he's a midfielder, but he pops up all over the place, Dange. Senga, heavy touch, goes out of play, which gives us an opportunity to look at Cambridge's chance.
He does well to stay on his feet there, but just can't quite keep up with it under the pressure from Camera there.
Kind of looked like
hard to see where he was tripped up. It was definitely towards the top of the penalty area, but trying to stay on his feet and then going down maybe is likely where he didn't end up getting the call.
Yeah, it looked a little awkward because there was like 4 or 5 strides where he was about to fall, and then at last he did. I will give Levi Rippey this. He had great positioning on the through ball. It's like Tibbling is going to replace Babalay as the central striker in the 4-3-3. Fofana out left, Fofana out right, Umar to the left. Muslim Umar was a name we heard bantered about at the start of the season. University of Portland registered him just in time. And a lot of raw talent there. 1 score sheet appearance in terms of end product when he grabbed an assist. What have you seen from him so far this season?
Well, I've seen a lot of good things, a lot of things to like. He's very confident on the ball. He's looking to make the right runs. He's trying to make the connections. He doesn't have quite the right amount, or not the right amount, probably just the length of time and experience in making those connections with Fernandez, with Nava, with some of the other players, and really trying to draw on that inherent knowledge of making the run, knowing where Nava's going to make the pass, and Nava trying to make the pass where he knows Umar's going to make the run. It's only a matter of time before they are able to solidify that connection, but he's very good off the ball. He's got a good presence.
Tracy hacked down from the side.
Yeah, Cortez just went right through him there.
Umar had 1 assist against University of Central Arkansas. If he plays about 10 more minutes today, he'll be at 200 total minutes on the season. Has appeared in each game, so Nick Carlin-Voigt likes the option he brings from the bench. They would say, well, he is certainly one for the future, but you may need to wait a little bit longer than we think, because while the front line is magnificent, Senga's really the only one who's going to be exiting the program anytime soon in terms of eligibility and graduation-wise. Cambridge, still a youngster. Babalai has 3 years of eligibility left. Nava's a midfielder now, certainly capable as a winger. Here's Umar. Denley finds Tibbling, shields off well, gives Portland that different facet than what Babalai gives. But the passing wasn't there. Good give and go. Fitzgerald met a wall, which is named Delence Pierre. Pierre and company looking for their 4th clean sheet of the season. Before the West Virginia game, which they conceded in the 3rd minute, they had a clean sheet in 3 of 4. Looking to make it now 4 of 6. Nava picked out Fernandez. Can it fall to Tibbling? He has a hack at it. Not a penalty. Nick Carlin-Voigt raised his arms. Good job by Tibbling just to get a boot on it.
Well, and very stout defending from the Roadrunners. Very confident. Walsh gets his head in on the initial ball in, that long ball that came in. Going to Tibbling, he's able to just get a piece of it and not let Tibbling get a good look at it. Here we'll see it again from Nava. There's Walsh there. That was going, or sorry, excuse me, that was going right to Fernandez.
Had a fight past Downing.
Well won there from Downing.
Connor Walsh was the one who put it up for the corner kick in the most recent action. He's a junior from Cork, Ireland. 6'4" defender. They have a lot of size in the back line. Started the last 5 games, full 90 in the last 2. Pair of clean sheets. His first season at Cal State Bakersfield. Arteaga. Headed away by Kamara. He's had a decent game. Ball spins in favor of the Pilots. Fofana drags it back. The shin pad is down outside the boot cross. Dealt with by Downing. Now Kamara looking to start the break, but Denley says not so fast. We'll get the ball back, but not with the bodies going forward as they hoped. Clive Army has filled in really well. We're making noise here to end the period. Low winds, cool temperatures. A great night for soccer in Portland. Portland with 9 games in September, Ange. Your vocal cords will get a break in October. You're obviously the color analyst for both the men and the women. You have a busy weekend.
Yeah, a lot of good games coming up. It'll be great to watch, great to see this team, how they do turning around to a Sunday game. We've seen traditionally Carlin-Voigt try to schedule 2 days between matches, so we would see typically a Friday-Monday game or a Thursday-Sunday game. So it'll be interesting to see how they're able to turn around for Sunday's match against Utah Tech.
Behind the scenes, Lens Pierre picks up a yellow card. Shot from distance, George Tassaris. Hasn't faced much today, but called into the action there.
Terrific opportunity for Cortez and the runners there, and he took it so well, and this is why as a goalkeeper you can't switch on, or switch off, excuse me. Cortez just turns and has a hit off the bounce, and Tassaris has to really come alive there get up in the air to make that save.
Headed back the other way and in. All you needed is a chance, and Bakersfield get on the score sheet just before halftime. The save initially by George Tassaris was excellent, but can't do anything off the corner as it trickles in off the post. 2-1, we have a game going to halftime.
And from who else, our player to watch, Carlos Armendariz. As we see this ball come in, it goes, he's the last player to in, and that's, you know, what we would call in youth soccer a World Cup goal. It's a game that you play, you're just gonna get the last touch as it goes in, and it's Armendariz. He gets it right through Arteaga and Bonilla. And that's exactly what Bakersfield needed headed into the locker room.
It's certainly a shot in the arm that Nick Carlin-Voigt's side did not want to administer, but life has been pumped into the Roadrunners. They have some more stamina in their legs, some more excitement.
And I want to talk about doing better, on set pieces. That was the first corner kick for the Roadrunners of this match.
Fernandez wins the sprint battle, sends it across. Portland need to get a shot off if they want anything. Instead, it's going to be cleared by the Roadrunners, and that will do it for the first half. California State Bakersfield steal a late one from our player to watch, Armendariz, from a corner, tips it right in front of George Tassaris. The Cyprian keeper couldn't do anything about it, but Portland, that opening 30 minutes was dang impressive, as Nick Carlin-Voigt's side has a narrow lead, but one at the very least. 19 goals this season with 2 more in the first half. We'll see if they can manage any more in the second 45. Stay tuned.
Good. Okay, guys, objective today, have a really sharp practice, work on some set pieces, work on our shape, getting all the details tuned in for tomorrow, all the things that we do, the honesty, the integrity of the details of the practice. Make sure that we're sharp today, okay? It's not going to be long. Really important that we have a really sharp practice and are ready to go for kickoff, okay? Hey, Coach, that's our Can you do it after practice?
Gentlemen, Sergeant Kranick for Campus Safety. This morning I had an officer from Portland Police come by our office to report a stolen bike. Unfortunately, they were able to identify the individual because they were wearing soccer garb, basically your t-shirt or whatever, identifying you to the University of Portland. Officer Good News talked to me this morning at length. He's not going to move forward with any kind of criminal charges. He's letting the university campus safety deal with it, which I'm very appreciative for. As you all know, you're a strong team. You're all united. When somebody does this, it reflects the entire team, right? They gave me basically a letter for the individual to meet with them immediately. I need to speak with Nick Denley. Nick?
Just doing bikes
Do you mind just opening that up? I have to make sure that you've read it, you understand, and if you have any questions, please ask.
Read it out loud.
All right. You exemplify everything I've read about our program. You always come to training with a big smile and positive attitude. I don't think we have ever seen a frown or heard a complaint in your time. You play each day like it could be your last and run like your engine will never empty. You've been through so much adversity since joining your program and have come out of it better, both a person and a teammate. Spending 2 years here without playing a fall game due to COVID and a knee injury hasn't been the planned journey. You grew up here in Oregon playing for FC Portland, the youth club Clive Charles built. You're an Oregonian through and through and bleed purple. You represent the program with class and character and graduated from UP undergrad with academic honors this past year. We are writing to inform you and your family that you've been increased to a full tuition.
He's just a great kid, great family. They have connections to UP, and you know, it's he's deserved it. He's earned it. So I think that you could see the team's reaction because they know how much he puts into it, and just how smart of a student athlete he is. Well, for him to be able to finish up his MBA and get 2 degrees from the UP, I think speaks to his character. So he exemplifies everything that's right with our program, and it was a fun little event.
Dream come true. Yeah. It's been a long time, and growing up here in Oregon, back in McMinnville, and playing for FC Portland, I've always known Clive Charles and came to the games, and so it's just nice to finally live that.
We did this with Keenan Weeks, who also is equally as deserving of a few years back with a Wally prank, and you know, we have a great relationship with P Safe, and we just talked about the values that this team has and how good they are, and so I thought I'd catch them off guard a little bit and come down, and some of the guys I think maybe weren't fooled, but other guys were like, oh, this isn't good. So again, just a little bit of fun before the season, and a great way to reward a really good pilot.
Got that bike like a week ago back from home, so I was like, maybe it's something else, but no, it was good fun.
Exciting time to watch our guys play, and want everyone to come out, students, community, please come out and support us. I think you'll see a great group of guys that play really hard and play the right way.
Portland Pilots are currently up 2-1 over CSU Bakersfield. 72% possession, Ange, but giving up that goal late is going to sting a little bit.
Absolutely, that's not how Nick Carlin-Voigt wanted to take his team into the locker room at halftime, but for Richie Grant's team, that's exactly what they needed to push them into the next 45 and really compete and come out and try to get something out of this game for their ball club.
Portland's on their best start since 2018, where they were undefeated through 10, as Portland is currently undefeated through 7.5 games, I should say. Excuse me, they were 10-0-3 in 2018, so undefeated through 13. The highlights in the first half are as follows. Bonilla had an excellent goal to start things off.
Yeah, he does so well to get himself into the attacking third, plays a nice give and go with Nava, and then that ball just rolls right in. This is just a tremendous, tremendous shot from this young man. Look at him lean into it like he's going to pass it, goes in with the outside of his foot and hammers it into the far post.
Gets really low on that chance, and the second goal came from Germain Senga.
Yeah, that was a great crossfield pass that we saw from Nava. That's how you break that press, as I said, and Cambridge is able to slide it through 3 Bakersfield players into that back post. Not only past his defender, but then through, you'll see here, through 3 other players, and Sanga gets around the outside around Hankins and slides it in for one of the easiest goals he'll score all season.
Cal State Bakersfield wasn't settled as they grab one here just before the half.
And you know, this was Bakersfield there was their only real chance of the game. As we take a close look here, because we're trying to tell if Armandaris got the goal. He's the one who celebrated. He said, you know, look at him run around, he's very excited, but it was Harry Downing, the center back, who took that shot that came in. And you know, again, that was the Roadrunners' only real chance of the game. Cortez created that with a real just half chance as he got in there and took a tremendous shot. You see there are only 2 shots on goal. The first one is what created that goal, was that shot from Cortez as the ball was bouncing and he turned and took a rip at it and absolutely smashed it. George Cesaris had to make a phenomenal save and sets them up to get their next shot on goal, which brought them back to within 1.
Portland 7 shots, 5 on target. George Cesaris made the one excellent save here, right? If they were going to score from a corner, Cal State Bakersfield feel a little bit worthy so, considering how they earned that. But possession, I think this is the most lopsided we've seen so far this season for the University of Portland. 72% in the first half, 28% for Cal State Bakersfield. Corners 4-1 in terms of the hosts. Offside 0-0, just the 1 yellow card for Delance Pierre as he was slightly time wasting to help himself get back into the back line. University of Portland did a lot of right there, Ange. Is there anything you're looking for in the second 45 that they can improve on?
Well, they were comfortable in possession, but they didn't take their set pieces as well as they've seen them not only attacking but defending. They conceded on the 1 corner, on the 1 real chance that the team that Bakersfield had against them the entire half. So they've been so comfortable in possession, they sometimes, it's almost as if they have forgotten what it takes to defend and win at this level. Bakersfield scored their first goal in 4 matches, going back to the 1-0 win against Gonzaga. So 3 matches, excuse me. So that's just, it's just they have to do better when they're under pressure, when they're in comfortable possession, and Bakersfield is going to continue to press them. They have to make sure that they take their chances in defending and don't give anything away.
The official number for Cal State Bakersfield, if you're wondering, 384 minutes since their last goal. University of Portland won't care if that streak is snapped as much if they can get the full 3 points here. Cal State Bakersfield picked to finish 9th in the Big West, while Portland picked to finish 1st in the WCC for the first time since 2003. Both teams in non-conference looking to break a couple of records. Portland trying to go undefeated for the first time since 2018. And while Cal State Bakersfield may be 2-4-1, Inch, if they get the win here today, it would be their most winning non-conference slate since 2015. They have wins over Grand Canyon and Gonzaga this season. They currently find themselves trailing as a new set of 45 is getting ready to go. Jacob Babele, Cambridge, and it looks like and Senga, the starting trio in attack, are all back into the game. We had about a 10-minute rest, fresh legs coming back. Banana kick back to Cambridge. We get a good look at the Canadian winger. I guess they're both Canadian wingers, but Cambridge specifically now on the near side. A yellow card, second of the game is shown to Juan Pablo Alvarez, the first of the game for Cal State. A junior from Carpinteria, California, went to Santa Barbara Community College for 2 years. Looks like several coaches on the Cal State side attesting the yellow card to Pablo Alvarez. He's saying he time wasted and he pushed him in the back. He hasn't had to make a ton of decisions, but Levi Rippey has handed out a pair of yellows. Quickly out for a corner kick on the near side to the University of Portland as we're 30 seconds in. Denley was the lone man on corner duty in the first half. Looks to be going at it again. Looking at the 11 for Portland, Ange, do you notice any subs? Because it looks like the 11 that started this affair.
I think it's the same for both teams. I was just running through all the numbers on the field from what I see out there, and both teams have returned to their starting 11 to start the second half.
Denley sends it an in-swinger. A leaping Senga was perhaps the closest to it. Good play by Kamara to get there first amongst a body of 3 Pilots players. There's a slip, and there's going to be a 2-on-1. George Tassaris, the shot's most likely coming. The Cyprian keeper is not beaten as it goes high and over. Cal State handed a lifeline that you only get once every few games as Bilal Mahoubi sends it high. That can't happen, Ange.
Mahoubi understandably frustrated with himself, but you have to look at the absolute massive recovery of Bonilla. He's the one that slips. Mahoubi has a break for about 60 yards, but look at how quickly Bonilla catches up with him. Mahoubi knows he can't cut it back if he wants to cut it back to his right foot. He absolutely can't do that. He's heard Bonilla coming behind him, and so he has to take that chance. The ball gets out from under his feet a little farther away than obviously he would have liked, and he puts it into the parking lot. So massive, massive effort from Kevin Bonilla to make up for his slip, get back, put the pressure on, and force Mahoubi into that high shot.
When that break started, I said a 2-on-0 break. Bonilla was literally on the ground in the center circle. He stepped up, and the fullback from from Texas, just marched back into the play. As a goal this game would have been forgiven, but all the better. Portland still up 2-1, but that will pump some blood into the hearts of the University of Portland and Nick Carlin-Voigt, saying, look, you guys are lucky to be up 2-1, now take advantage. Cal State Bakersfield settling well here in the second half. Good ball across to Marcano, takes it to his left foot, has a curling shot right off the forehead of Delence Pierre. Takes it like a warrior and gets ready to defend the corner kick.
This is already better from Bakersfield. What we talked about in the first half in terms of some of the things they need to do better was just get the numbers up in support of the attack. It was Cortez that was out there, Manzo that was out there that needed to be helped out. They're the lone striker up there, so you need Mahoubi, you need Marcano as your wing midfielders to get up in as your second and third attacker when you're going forward, and we're already seeing a better job from them of doing that.
A high in-swinger to what could be called the far back post. Walsh saw it go out of play right in front of him. He's going to maintain their ball. Mahoubi's going to take the throw-in. Kamara coming as support. No, he's going to come and take it. Taking their time, Cal State. Good chest down from Mahoubi. Fake the cross once. Bonilla just sees it stay in. Nope, flag up on the far side. It's going to be another corner kick. Bonilla saw the ball spinning in front of him and just swiftly past the chalk. Corner routine, not many defending in the box for Portland as they were drawn to the sphere initially, but it is going to be a foul inside the 18. George Tassaris going to treat it like a goal kick. Nava likes to work in these spaces just outside of his own final third. Talks so much about linking midfield and attack, but he links all the midfielders together.
Should go back and correct myself. Cortez is on the field. He actually didn't start the game, though he played majority of the first half. It was Manzo that started the game up top, Marco Manzo. Cortez came in about midway through the half, played a decent amount of minutes, so.
Set piece taken quickly for the Pilots. Fernandez does a good job as a player draped all over his back, unintentional, going in between the legs, and just a really strong play. I believe Senga gives it over to Denley on the overlap. It's inside the box and cleared away swiftly.
Kerman Senga holds that ball up. You see him use his body. He didn't lean in too much. He just got himself low, took the challenge, and then played it through to Denley. Denley's ball through just a little bit too far in front and a little bit too far behind the lines that were running in for the Pilots, so nobody able to connect with that inside the penalty area.
Made a good run to strike up a relationship with Senga, who read the pass well. Arteaga looked to Cambridge quickly, instead finds Fernandez. Ball's cleared and goes out of play. Bonilla. Cambridge welcomes it, squares it back to to Tracy. Really nice pass out by Nava. Finds Senga in space. Couple of body feints and then cleared by Downing. Outside the box with Tracy again. All 11 creeping into the final third. Center backs Arteaga and Pierre about 10 yards in front of the halfway line, but now they're forced to retreat as Dodone in an all yellow kit gets ready to resume proceedings. As we go into the 53rd minute, this does not look like a game like it did in the first half. Portland just dominated the opening 40 minutes. Deserved to be up 2-0, if not more. Cal State got their lifeline that they needed, and they're using it in the second half. Senga waiting patiently for it. Perhaps the pass should have came in earlier, and a really nice sliding challenge by Pablo Alvarez. Marcano has 2 to get past. Does a good job with the pass, and then the following not as good as the latter. Bonilla has some space on the right. It falls well, and a really nice save. Dodone diving to his left. Corner coming again on the near side.
It's a great save from Dodone, and Portland really works that ball well. That was about their 8th pass from Bonilla into Cambridge. And it starts with Greg Tracy making a great read out of the middle of the field, looking and seeing those opportunities where he can step up and win a pass, and he did. And Portland works it so well to earn that opportunity.
Portland in hunt of their third. Almost all of them in the box are inside the 6-yard. Arteaga's back on the far side post and quickly popped out of play. Another corner kick, this time on the far side. Denley's not going to make the trek all the way over. He's going to hand the job over to his buddy Sebastian Nava. Portland favoring the in-swinging balls as they like to crowd the keeper. Nava keeps it low and headed away, only for a moment's being. Denley outside the box. Everyone has a shot from distance, and there was Fernandez. He was calling for a hand, doesn't get it. Marcano keeps it in play. No, he does not. Flag up on the far side. Portland have been composed in the opposition final third. Cal State Bakersfield beaten twice, and very well worked goals. Clearance only as far as Cambridge, who tries to push it inside. Cortez was open for a moment's being. I think some from the bench, including Richie Grant, noticed it. 10 minutes into the second half. We have an entertaining final 35 to come. Clive's Army making themselves heard. They did at the end of the opening half. And now when their team needs it more so, almost disaster. Is it gonna be disaster? Woo! About a yard away, Ange.
Yeah, just a slight little miscommunication there between Kamara and Dodone. Pierre launches this ball in, and you see Kamara just come in, looking to try to head it back to Dodone. Dodone not reading that, and does well to get back and keep that ball in play.
Yeah, does a good job because obviously his momentum going towards the end line, not to drag the ball in himself. In soccer, the entire sphere does have to cross over the white line, so it looks probably a little bit closer than it was in actuality. Cambridge with an overlapping Bonilla takes up the option, and the first time cross is not going to be a corner, instead a throw in, but a yard from it. That's a relationship that's been really fun to watch the last 2 seasons. Cambridge and Bonilla, the right-sided demons for the Pilots.
The timing between them, the timing off the ball, the understanding that they have has really come alive this season as Bonilla has come into his own for this pilot program.
Cross in front of the box. Nava almost had it. Denley's going to take a shot from distance. I believe it ricocheted off a white jersey and out for yet another corner. That's Portland's 9th shot of the affair.
Harlan Voigt will really want to see his team take a better opportunity, take care of this ball. They have yet to generate a shot from any one of the 6 corner kicks they've had up to this point. It's been a ball mostly just played in, not a lot of picking out opportunities, so we'll see what Portland can make of this chance.
Denley's turn. In-flying Delence-Pierre. Fernandez being pestered. Does a good job even to get the cross off. And now the clearance. Not an easy job for Tracy. There's one shoving his shoulders. Last touch off of his head. Cal State looking for some possession. Haven't been afforded much. They take another opportunity to reset their lines.
Padilla reads that well, heads it up and over Mahubi. It was really his only play, didn't have an open player around him, but that was the best play he could make to get his teammates time to get back and get set defensively.
Bonilla not the tallest, just 5'8", as he stretches out his leg. Cal State earns a corner. The second shortest player on this team is Bonilla. First, the opposite side fullback, Nick Denley, 5'8" and 5'7". Pablo Alvarez, who's on a yellow card to take, unlike Portland. The Roadrunners have preferred the outswingers. One option coming short for Alvarez. Instead, he goes well low. Fernandez doesn't get a clean clearance on it as George Tasseries haphazardly comes out. He stays on his line. Second ball comes in, headed away. Shot from distance, a good strike as Levi Rippey right there to call no handball. Even if it was, probably would have been a set piece instead of a penalty. As there's another corner in the 59th.
Hankins really lined that up, and that was so well taken by him. But you have to give a ton of credit to Downing, who may or may not be our goal scorer from the first half, who kept that alive in front of Tasseries. Just went and more or less bullied him off the ball, kept that alive for his team, and gives his teammates another chance here.
The chance coming in indeed. De Gracia. Smart sliding challenge. Portland's not one to go to deck on challenges. The rather conservative back line of Pierre and Arteaga, they like to play the positioning more than the challenge. That was a good example there of when a sliding challenge works well. De Gracia ran to grab it. Instead, it goes all the way back to Downing and the back line. Pierre has to go against his momentum to head the ball away. A low shot into the grasp of George Tassaris.
What Delence Pierre did there was so well against Cortez was getting up and over him to win that ball out of the air initially without fouling him. He gets him up and around him, doesn't climb up on his back, just make sure that he keeps a little sliver of space between him and Cortez to win that ball, and that's just such classy defending by him, knowing he can't give away a free kick up at the top of the box.
Yeah, talking about not fouling him, I don't think he even touched him. It's like he extended his neck out, going against his body. Cambridge stays put on the deck, allows Fernandez to pick it up, goes against two, has a low shot at the near post, another nice save. Still alive, Cambridge can't split the double this time. Is being thrown all about, but the foul is going to be on him as he tries to squeeze through.
And Fernandez gets this chance because Cambridge more or less screens some players off the ball, allows Fernandez to dribble in, and Dodone, just helped by the post there off that rip from Cambridge, pushes it slightly off the post and back out into play.
I wasn't sure in live action, Ange, but that is definitely going in if Dodone is not there to parry it wide. Bonilla in a foot race, instead of going back to his trusty keeper, sends it out. Bonilla was suspended for the first game this season after getting a red card in the final game of the season prior against Washington in the tournament. Grabbed an assist against Cal Poly. His first goal, second of his Pilot's career tonight, was the opening of the contest. Babele, who's been relatively quiet for the opening 16 minutes of the half, draws a foul outside of his own box. Next up for Portland, they face Utah Tech at 7 p.m. on Sunday, September 25th. And then they face St. Mary's next Friday at 7 p.m.
This is their only set of games with more or less the 1.5, 2-day turnaround, Friday, Sunday. Every other game is spaced out, so I'm sure that goal from Bakersfield going into halftime was not helpful for Carlin Voigt and his plans to potentially give some players off the bench, kind of test the depth of his squad a little bit, get some more players onto the field, and get them some additional minutes so that he could, start a first choice lineup that was relatively fresh and ready to go on Sunday.
Tracy wins the ball back after Cal State got it off of Babele. Good dummy to leave it off for Nava, who opens up his outside of the boot and gives it to Senga. Senga goes towards the end line, can't get the cross off. Really good defending. Portland still picks it up. They don't let it go out for a corner. Nava closed down quickly, trots inside of the box, takes a good stride forward, and a cross just left, opens up the boot, save, it's still there! And I don't think there was a foul in there, Ange. Just finally in the grasp, Dodone.
What a tense couple of moments. Nava so good on the ball. Didn't quite get all of it here as he wanted to get, but held up so well. Portland just can't make anything of it, and Dodone gets it right under his calves and wraps it up.
That's when Babele might need to put a little bit more mustard on, as he kept it a little bit too low, but he did hit the net. Another shot on goal for the Pilots.
Those are the kind of plays that tend to invigorate you as a team. It's so close. You're back there, you're in a scrum, and you just realize that you're still in this game. It's still 2-1. There's still a chance for you to get up and score a goal. So that's just the little shot in the arm that perhaps Bakersfield needed to come into the attack.
Felt like oftentimes last year when Portland, and a rather soft-ish call against Bonilla.
It's a foul.
It is a foul.
He stopped his run, made sure that Mahubi ran into him, and then went to go get it. So if you're not going to play the ball and you're gonna do that, then that's the foul. That's the foul that gets called. If this ball comes in right there,
Yeah.
just bodies into him.
So usually when you're 5'8", you try to get away with that one, but Levi Rippey's officiated a good game thus far. The minimal traveling squad that Cal State Bakersfield has brought with them, all 5 up on their feet. Nathan Jimenez, the only one without a warm-up jersey on. Perez de Gracia to take. Looks to be on his left foot as he raises his right arm. It's a tense moment for the Pilots. They bend. Don't break yet. Almost do right there. And what would have been an acrobatic finish from a defender in Downing as George Tassaris just hurls it towards Cambridge. Good job again by Hankins to keep that ball in play too.
Tassaris has to get his head up the field there. I see where he's going there with Cambridge, but what he didn't see was all of Downing's teammates knew that he was committed into the goal on that challenge, and you had about 3 more running back to cover. So even if Cambridge would have gotten that ball, it was going to be 1v4. Tassaris probably better served by just hanging on to it because Cambridge wasn't on a 1v1. That's a chance you want to take on a 1v1 or a 1v2, but not a 1v3 or 4.
Mahubi. Cross reached by Cortez. Spelled very differently, but reminds me of Christoforos Cortez from last year, who, like George Tassaris, was a player from Cyprus who transferred from Grand Canyon University. Marios Andreu has continued that tradition for the University of Portland, as this offseason he is a Cyprian midfielder who transferred from Grand Canyon University. Guess they like the look of purple. Babalay trying to leave it for Senga, and Hankins gets there and blocked off the backside from Senga. That's the second time he's done that today. Like to see the effort by Germain Senga. In terms of substitutions, Nick Carlin Voigt, Fernandez is out there obviously, has plenty of players warming up, and this is about the time in the second half, if you want your starters to come back in at the end, you start thinking about it. Denley tried to disguise it last going off by a Portland player. Today's starting striker, Marco Manzo, who got his first start of the season tonight, is coming back into the game. He plays a few more ticks on the clock. This will be his season high in minutes, which was previously 34 minutes in the opener. What's been different with Portland this half? Because passing still seems, relatively clean. They still have more possession, but it seems just a little bit off from the opening 45.
Well, I think there's nothing really different with Portland, but Bakersfield has really upped the intensity and the pressure. They've gotten more numbers up. They're not letting Portland comfortably possess the ball between their back 4, letting Cortez or Manzo just chase a few players around. They've gotten more players up in the support. They've got Perez de Gracia up there, Armendariz up there, Marcano and Mahubi really working together better as a front 5 rather than the front 1 with a couple supporting players coming in and out of the picture.
Shumai Kamara with the foul. He was frustrated, had a little hop in anger. Richie Grant joined him in so. Denley. Arteaga. A low stance by Marco Manzo, cutting out the pass between center backs. And that's kind of the default of Arteaga and Pierre. When they don't know where to go, they go to one another. Cambridge caught a lace of a player, really nice pass to Fernandez. A player is down, too heavy of a touch, but still a chance. And then the sliding challenge gets rid of it. Babalay had some daylight to take that strike. And even a second opportunity. The third time it was slammed shut. Senga, good cross in. A little bit too heavy. Bonilla looping cross. Denley's in the box. Puts a boot up. But the fullback for Portland now has to get his bearings under control and sprint back to the back line as the ball stays in play. Took an awkward bounce. A slipping Monzo eventually makes the play well. Marcano. Marcano suffered several injuries with Bakersfield. Was had a good night on the far side flank in his 6th start of the year. Has 1 assist. Last season grabbed an assist as well, looking for his first goal in 2 years. Chipped forward to Armendariz, the midfield general for the Roadrunners. Give it up to Hankins. Has been strong defensively. What can he do on offense? Not a cross there, but has a second opportunity. Called offsides beforehand. Under 20 minutes to go. Portland not feeling totally like West Virginia. But this is about the time in that game where they said, we're defending this, probably not going to grab another unless it's on a counter. But it could be a little bit different. Oliver Yippa coming into the game. Clock is stopped. Wasn't sure why, but there is a substitution on its way for the Roadrunners. Or is there? A shin pad. That'll do it. There's Bryson Hankins.
Players seen a few of that tonight. It's a little sweaty. There's also a decent amount of humidity in the air as fall approaches. Doesn't even look like Armendariz is wearing shin guards. I'm sure there's a sliver of a magazine stuffed up and folded into his socks.
Babalay on the turn. Straight up tackled. And it's going to be the second yellow card for Cal State, this time to Harry Downing.
That's Downing's 4th yellow card of the season. So after you get your 5th yellow card, which they'll be alert of going forward, you're gonna be sitting out a game.
6-foot defender. They started all but one game this season, 2019, all WAC freshmen back when they were in the WAC. In 2021, they played the full 90 in 15 of 17 games.
Portland, did so well when they got their goals over the span of that 3 or 4 minutes in the first half. They have had comfortable possession, but what did it for them was the comfortable possession going into a very quick decision-making into a counterattack. You look at Bonilla's goal, and you look at the goal. You hit the goal from Sanga. All of them happen from very quick. We're holding the ball, we're possessing, and then as the opportunities start to open up, the spaces start to open up, exploiting it so quickly that Bakersfield did not have time to react. That's how they're getting their goals, and right now, Portland isn't necessarily looking for those quick pockets of space to run into and play the ball. It's very, very comfortable and methodical right now.
A pair of fresh legs comes in for each team. Nick Fernandez exits for the University of Portland as Oliver Yippa comes in. He's played every game this season, usually as a sub in the second half. A safe pair of legs in midfield. And Nathan Jimenez, a forward from California, comes in for Cal State. Played for Sacramento Republic in MLS Next. As Marco Monzo draws the foul. Jimenez 4 shots this season, hasn't started the last 2 games, but started the 5 before that. He's only 5'7", a freshman on the lighter side, but Cal State is one of their higher recruits in recent years. They have high hopes for Jimenez. Keep an eye on number 28. He's playing on the right wing, going against Denley. Hankins gives it up to him. Right back to Hankins. The move didn't quite register. Kind of a body check by Denley, which Hankins was not appreciative towards. Clive's Army giving him some stick for, you know, if you show your emotions to the ref, there's one place on the pitch probably not to do it. Cambridge tries a ball roll past Mahooby. Mahooby looking to grab a goal after he didn't hit the net on a one-on-one break with the keeper. Cambridge has played most of this game. Wow, just glides past two. Can he make it three as the shoulder comes into the chest area, and that's going to be a yellow card for Connor Walsh. 3 of the 4 on the back line for Cal State, now on a card. The junior from Ireland.
Cambridge, so difficult to defend. You see him go past the camera here and then just past a sliding Perez de Gracia, and Walsh comes up, doesn't really try to defend him, just turns his shoulder in him, tries to separate him from the ball, and that is a very easy call, easy decision for the caution.
It really embodies the phrase, man or the ball, not both. Certainly got all of Cambridge. And he didn't bring his arms up, he just went to the center of Cambridge, which you can't do. I'd rather be checked than elbowed. Arteaga sees a sprinting Nava. Picked up the option. Cambridge an unhappy roar.
Up here, probably won the ball cleanly over Manzo there, but looks like the referee called him for just coming up through his shoulder.
Pierre charge out the back line, got his noggin first to it. I guess was behind Manzo. Downing. If Portland have a counter, Cal State are going to have to be careful not to get another yellow card caution. Yippa does a good job using his body to shield off from Manzo.
And Manzo there just pulls Yippa back as he runs by him. That would be deemed a professional foul, likely a yellow card, but our center ref probably doesn't want to continue to slow the game down any more than it has been.
Yippa doing what he did, about 10 feet further back again. Nava has Cambridge, who's going against Kamara. Kamara gets aid, but doesn't need it as he sends it out in a really good sliding challenge, which earns Portland a corner. Cambridge has been a menace, and in comes another physical force on the front line. It's CJ Tibbling. He played, I think, 7 seconds against West Virginia. I remember the clock stopping for him at the end of last game, but he's going to play a more pivotal role certainly here on Friday night. Arteaga, who's usually in the box, is going to hang out outside of it this time as he takes a glug of water. Or so where he runs to. Denley waits for him, lifts his right arm in front of the scoreboard, which is in the 78th minute, and sends in a good ball. A high up leg, gets rid of it. Portland willingly takes it outside the 18. Senga sends it back in. Delence Pierre was the recipient. Nava, looks like he got poked at. Still Portland possession. It is just ping-ponging off everyone, and the ball goes through the 2 bumpers and ends the game. It's going to be a set piece.
Alvarez won that ball off Nava. Nava tried to make the most of it, make the most of the contact, but that was pretty cleanly won by Alvarez.
12 minutes to go for Cal State. Gonna have to get on their horse and get going. We'll see what the Roadrunners have in them. They haven't won a game since the early September match against Gonzaga, trying to get their winningest non-conference slate since 2015. They beat Gonzaga, a WCC foe. They beat GCU, who's a premier team in their Big West Conference. Can they do it against Portland, who's picked to finish first in the WCC and don't have a loss, but will certainly prefer 5-0-3 rather than 4-0-4. They sit 14th in the rankings. There's a lot of high-ranking teams in action tonight. We'll see how the poll works out in the early next week. They also play Utah Tech this weekend, who has talent, a lot of Oregonians on the roster, perhaps more than the University of Portland, funnily enough. But so far this season, just the one win for them. Cal State, the side with the more experience and pedigree in the former school known as Dixie State. Yippa, the Dane, calls it for the return ball. He doesn't get it, perhaps he should have. Tracy makes up the ground and picks up the space formerly occupied by Yippa. Senga running strong, finds Nava oh so well, has a shot blocked. Second opportunity by Tracy, blocked again. Nava, similar to Babalay earlier, that's one you want struck in a little bit quicker, Ange.
Sure, but I really want to recognize Greg Tracy there. Keeping that play alive, a ball kind of played through, could have been won by Bakersfield. He works his socks off to go get it. Plays a nice ball into Nava. Nava doesn't get the touch that he wants on it. And you saw as he was coming in, plays that ball to Senga. Senga plays just a pretty ball in, and that touch gets away from him. And you see just those two players in Walsh and Camera closing so quickly on Nava. And that's, you know, those are those opportunities that Portland doesn't have to take a poor touch. That's was the difference between the first half and the second half. Again, is just execution and cleanliness, you know, through the final third.
It may have not been taken perfectly, but I really like Nava's body language after that. After it was blocked, he was looking for the ball, ready for the next chance. A lot of players will put their hands over their eyes and their head.
Well, that's a player, you know, that's a true, somebody who's poaching, who's looking, who's always trying to find the next opportunity. It doesn't matter to him that he missed it in that moment. What he's looking for is that he knows it went off of somebody, so it's got to land somewhere, and there's another opportunity out there for him.
Nava, 2 goals, 5 assists on the year. From Wilmington, California, the WCC freshman all-team selection last year. Babalay, a like-for-like replacement, is replaced by CJ Tibbling, who's looking for his second goal of the season. Certainly used to scoring goals, and important ones at that. Had a game-winning goal in the 2020 Big East title for Seton Hall. An 88th minute game winner against Air Force in the NCAA tournament. Scored a lot of goals at Seton Hall, trying to make his mark in the Pacific Northwest. Clock is stopped. George Tassaris has a word with Denley, and then gets his cardio in, going back to his net. We're halted at 81:03. Under 9 minutes to go, and there's a yellow card. Is that for Babalay?
Yeah. Taking his time leaving the field. And it certainly seemed like a planned play as Carlin Voigt was asking him just to sit there and take it before coming off the field, which is odd because the clock was stopped, so it's not necessarily a time-wasting tactic at that stage.
George Tassaris. I don't even know how to explain that, but he needed to be there. Otherwise, it was going to be 1-0 against him. He gets his shin absolutely rammed into after the fact. It all happened so quick, and the Cyprian keeper is down. Limes is going to warm up in case this is worse than we fear. Here's a look at it, Ange.
And just a rare opportunity that Pierre gets beat there, and it just looks like he gets stepped on. It doesn't look necessarily like he went through, but well done from Arteaga there to save the corner. And Bonilla puts it into the stands just to be sure, but just looks like Tassaris gets clipped there on his foot. So we'll take our time here and see how this plays out.
We've had a couple of instances this season where George Tassaris has come way out of his net and unfortunately conceded a few penalties, but that one right there, the captain of University of Portland was having over with Denley, was taking the throw and never really fully went back to his line, went back inside his 18. So maybe some fortunate positioning, but he had courage of steel coming about 25 yards out from his line to make that play. Gets his foot stepped on the screen right now. You see the backup keeper, Brendan Limes, the redshirt sophomore from Edgewood, Washington. Played 12 minutes this season in relief of Tassaris in a game they were beating Cal Poly pretty good and didn't face a shot though. Last season appeared briefly against number 15 Northern Illinois on a rare Tuesday home game. Been with this program a long time. In 2020, he unfortunately tore his ACL, so hasn't played.
So I have some context to the Babelet yellow card, excuse me. He was on 4 yellows. So as I mentioned earlier with Downing, when Downing got his 4th yellow, asking Babelet to take that next yellow card, he'll be suspended for Sunday's game, which doesn't put him then in jeopardy for their opener, WCC opener against St. Mary's or any of the other games. So just some good tactical gamesmanship there from Nick Carlin-Voigt, trying to reset the yellow cards for Babelet so that they don't lose him at any point during the crucial WCC season.
That's why they pay you the big bucks. That's some good insight. I didn't realize that.
That was the only explanation, and on our stats that we get from our stats crew, didn't have the season-long yellow card, so I had to look that up
So now
quickly.
Jacob Babelet will miss the game against Utah Tech on Sunday. And not forecasting anything, but that's probably a game you'd rather miss than the opening WCC game against St. Mary's on September 30th. Babelet is the starting striker for this side. Nick Carlin-Voigt just stares down the Cal State coaches bench as they're complaining about the time. And Jacob Babelet, his night is probably over with just 8.5 minutes to go. George Tassaris is back onto his feet after a round of applause, and rightfully so. Tassaris this season, a .767 save percentage on 23 saves. And at last, we resume on a long throw-in. Yippa climbed over the back. Excuse me, his back was climbed on. And there's a yellow card.
And that's yellow card for Cortez. This could be an interesting last 9 minutes or so.
Chances of a second yellow. This game hasn't certainly exploded open in physicality, but there is some frustrations brewing for Cal State. They need to keep their composure and focus on piercing the net instead of frustrating University of Portland.
You see Walsh there on that challenge. He's got to be very careful. He is on a yellow card. You see him got both hands around Tibling's chest and was trying to push him back away off the ball.
Bonilla taking his time. Plays it low to Tibling, who uses his body well. Has 2 on him, can only shield off for so long. Tosses 1 aside and he's gonna get charged with a foul. Nick Carlin-Voigt, expressive, puts his arms up. If you just watch him the whole game, it's also an entertaining show, but you like to see what goes on in between the lines too.
You wear a heart rate monitor watching him and see how much your anxiety ebbs and flows.
Pierre was there to defend. Denley eventually makes the action. Cannon forward really well. A shot from distance hits off the side of Delence Pierre. Even if that does hit his arm, it's glued to his side and outside the box.
It's in a natural position.
As natural as it gets. Tassaris takes his time and just rolls it. Knocked into the crowd by Pablo Alvarez. Another one on a yellow. In comes number 28, Sebastian Hernandez, and this now kind of signals see out the game time. Taking Cambridge out of forward in favor of a defender, Sebastian Hernandez.
Well, we'll see Bonilla move into a bit more of an advanced role with this sub. With Cambridge going out, Fernandez coming on. Portland will shift, obviously, a lot more defensive presence over to this near touch line.
Bonilla.
It seems like this has been what's been favored.
He's a nice auxiliary defensive winger to have as he's chasing for the ball right there, keeps it in play well, and forces a header from Yepa. Gives it to Nava, whose touch was unintentionally impressive. We'll give it to him. Bonilla. That's the first half. He probably crosses it first try, but with under 6 to go, he's taking his time. Hernandez. It popped up. Linesman had a good view of it. Doesn't say anything. Nava. This is exactly the real estate on the pitch you want to be working. Ball attempted to be fed through to Mahubi. Instead, only as far as Arteaga, and then to Tassaris. Ball doesn't go far, a lot of backspin on it. The difficult header may have been in an offside position, doesn't touch the ball. Talking about Armin Diaz. Hernandez to Yepa.
Armin Diaz has been so impressive for Bakersfield. His work rate hasn't faltered for the last 85 minutes. And you know he's going to be just burning it for the next 5.
Senga trying to put the game to bed, has 3 with them, takes it himself. Wasn't the right option, as they're still trying to pressure. Goes into Clive's army. They're going to take a solid for the team and just put it down instead of handing it to him. Good soccer IQ. There's a reason you get University of Portland educations for moments like that. Clock is stopped. Don't think we'll see any yellow card mischief this time. But out goes Julian, in comes Julian Conce, replacing Sanga. We're getting very defensive right now in terms of style. Conce marks his 7th appearance this season. 122 minutes, most against Cal Poly, 1 assist against Seton Hall. He's a player who may be new to the program, but a lot of experience in college. 22-year-old hoping to see the game out and give Portland the 2-1 win. It may seem like they're under distress, but they've been doing a good job keeping it inside of the Roadrunners' half. At last they get out, switching the field to play. Pierre up to it well. He's won a lot of aerial duels today. Conce heads it back, gets back in position quickly. Jimenez, and into the 18. Falls at the back post, and he's going to be offsides.
Portland, nice job watching their line there. Mahubi just gets caught on the other side of that defensive line for Portland. And right now, referees, other teams seem to be aware of Portland's ability to run the clock at the end of the game, so stopping the clock as often as they need to here in the closing minutes.
Yeah, when the ball boy waits to have 2 balls in his hands before he gives the keeper 1, that's probably a swell indication as clock resumes well. Tibbling. Bonilla just keeps running and running.
Perez de Gracia, nice job there, just getting inside of Bonilla, putting his body, as Bonilla took a touch away from his body, shields him off the ball and wins it for Bakersfield.
Hernandez looks like he got clipped going up for the jump.
Cortez shields the player more than the ball, trying to go get it, and that's the clip that they're going to call.
Richie Grant expressively PO'd about that one. Hernandez, Yippa. Tibbling in a foot race and then uses the physicality in the corner to eke off some precious seconds against the Roadrunners. Bonilla gonna do the same, gives it to Yippa with some open real estate right back to the right back. Back to where we started. Tibbling, not many better men to do the job he's doing. 2.5 minutes to go. It's going to be a throw-in for Portland. Clock still going. Eye on the referee. Levi Rippey, if he stops this clock, he is not thrown. Taken adequately by Bonilla right back to the corner. Don't have an excellent view on it.
It's Kamara and Perez de Gracia on Tibbling in the corner fighting for that ball.
They're in a mosh pit with all the Portland substitutes watching about 2 feet away as well. Under 2 minutes to go. Chances waning for the road team, the Roadrunners. Clock stopped.
Bonilla get a yellow card for this. That was well after the whistle and well too far away for our center official, Levi Rippey, not to give him a yellow card.
What have you made of this second half Portland performance? Different than the first, but still strong.
Still strong. I mean, it's a lot like West Virginia. They go up 2-1 and they have some opportunities to put this game away, but they don't really take advantage. They're, again, comfortable in possession, but not creating any dynamic chances to really offset. They're not looking to create any numbers up advantages around the ball to really try to put this game away. There's not been the onus on them to try to say, yeah, let's go 3-1, 4-1 and make this more comfortable for ourselves. So, you know, I think Nick Carlin-Boyd has probably had to leave a few too many players out there for his liking. And, you know, you have to give a ton of credit to this Bakersfield program in the adjustments at halftime from Richie Clark to come in and press and recognize that there were opportunities for his team to press and try to win something, and they did at times. You know, they had the Bonilla slip, and they've had a couple other opportunities to try to capitalize, and have just been unable to do so.
With 92 seconds left to go, we're going to look at Kunse going down here. Looks like he may have gotten headed on the back of the head by Rene Cortez.
Yeah, and then just landed awkwardly. As he did so, you saw his legs bended a little bit awkwardly, but mostly probably looking at the head-to-head contact.
2 players getting ready to come in. A see-out-the-game specialist, if you will, number 32, Michael Hatcher. He's a 6'3" defender who likes to come in and defend set pieces at the end of games. Kunse getting helped up by the trainer.
Arteaga signaling that Konsa will have to come off. Unable to continue.
2-1 scoreline we got here. Bonilla got a goal early on, a really well-worked move, which he started himself. Senga then got the 2-0 lead for Portland when he received a back pass post from Cambridge. Cambridge may have not gotten his customary goal, but is now up to 5 goals and 3 assists on the season. He had 5 shots last game, put a few on target today. Was named top drawer soccer player of the week 2 weeks ago. And now we are going to see that sub, Ange. Portland developing an identity at the end of these games. Nick Carlin-Voigt happy to put in the defensive troops when he's up 2-1 with 10 minutes to go. Look, keep the win instead of getting open and trying to reach for a third. Understand style points is certainly a thing in every sport in the NCAA. When it comes to rankings, everyone likes a lower number, as in single digits. But Portland can't get greedy. Remaining undefeated is really the end-all with 92 seconds left in this game. And finally, I should give credit to the road team as well. They got back on the scoreboard with under a minute to go in the first half when we don't know who, probably Downing had the header, but there was also Armendariz in front.
And just such a well-taken chance from Downing, but that was created from just a half chance that Cortez turned into something that really had to, George Tesserice really had to lay out to keep the score at 0, and from the corner, they're able to convert.
To confirm, Kunze did come out as Fernandez is just grappled down. That's going to be a straight yellow card for Andres Perez de Gracia. That is now 5 yellows for Cal State. They now have 25 yellow cards on the year.
You see Fernandez just turned, and de Gracia gets him up around the neck. That was a little shoulder, a little neck, definitely more skin than jersey.
Nick Carlin-Voigt was talking to the fourth official, may have wanted a little bit more.
Wanted a red card there. And from this angle, I don't blame him from where the hand came up and grabbed and pulled Fernandez down. And
a minute remaining. Portland, relaxedly takes this throw-in.
And Bakersfield, you can see, they don't concede a lot of fouls, but you can see now, as the game gets away from them, just losing their cool in some circumstances that seem pretty unnecessary in drawing these yellows. See why they're leading in yellow cards.
30 seconds left in the game. Portland certainly have experience in this spot. They've been 1-goal victors a time or two this season. If the score stands with 20 seconds left to go, they'll go to 5-0-3 and remain undefeated on the season and go to 5-0-1 here at Merlo Field. They want to make this place a fortress. Unfortunately, in the month of October coming up soon, they only play here once all of next month. They want to keep the streak going here. And as the ball goes out of play, they're just going to about do that. PA announcer counting down as the University of Portland moves to 5-0-3 on the season. Your 14th ranked Pilots are still undefeated, continuing their best start since 2018. And your final thoughts on the game?
This game definitely turned into something that it probably shouldn't have been. I think Carlin-Voigt wanted to see more goals from his team, especially in the first half, to put this team away. But you saw them be patient in the second half, work through some difficulties, and again, sustain a tremendous amount of pressure from this Bakersfield side, similar to what we saw on Monday night. So we'll see what kind of legs, what they have in the tank for Sunday, but it should be a good match here at Merlo.
There may have been more adversity in the second half than we thought after Portland went up 2-0, but it makes the win oh so sweet. Your Pilots win 2-1 over Cal State Bakersfield. We'll talk to you on Sunday when the Pilots face Utah Tech. Have a great night.